I spent a week diving deep and piecing together in rigorous detail the complete timeline and history of Dragon Quest McDonald's collaborations in Japan. To start, we've got to go back to 2009, when McDonald's in Japan released a service called McDonald's. It was a service where people could enter one of the 3,200 supported McDonald's restaurants nationwide, take in their DS handhelds and connect to special locations dedicated as Nintendo zones. This enabled them to download exclusive games and content, specifically during limited time events. McDonald's originally launched on June 19th, 2009, and they did not waste any time with one of the very first collaborations being with Dragon Quest, with a game called McDonald's Travelers. McDonald's Travelers released on July 31st and is a now completely lost game, where you participated in simple Dragon Quest battles using the following actions: attack, special ability, spell, and defend. Very Dragon Quest coded. And that's because, well, it was a Dragon Quest game. A whole ass lost Dragon Quest game distributed by McDonald's back in 2009. And now it's gone. Lost media. All we have left are some blurry pictures of DS screens showing the game. Although I have heard it described as less of a game and more of a PowerPoint presentation. One old Japanese blog post I read described how it would take upwards of 10 seconds for the next slide to show during combat. I can't verify this, because it's gone. But even if that's the case, I still want it, because, well, I want all Dragon Quest things. And sitting through these mediocre battles and image slides was all in aid of earning McDonald's coupons for things like free hamburgers and discounts, and other similar prizes. This came shortly after the release of Dragon Quest IX, tying directly into that. That meant they also released something for the real full game, perhaps the best item you could get in the game. For a limited time, you could get the Red Afro, designed to resemble Ronald McDonald's, or as he's known in Japan, Donaldo McDonaldo, his wig. It was designed to resemble his wig. And it looks so out of place in Dragon Quest IX, it's perfect. This distribution launched on the same day as McDonald's Travelers, July 31st. Both the coupon earning game and the wig were scheduled to come to an end on September 3rd, 2009. A loss the world simply was not ready for. And because the world was not ready, and due to popular demand, with over 1 million people having played McDonald's Travelers by the end of August, they extended it to October 1st, but not only that, they added 9 rare wedding-themed items to join the Ronald McDonald wig on Wi-Fi shopping when the extension period began. But then, October 1st did eventually come, and history was finally lost. But that's okay, because the next collab would come less than a year later in 2010. May 28th to be exact, a collaboration with Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2. A new McDonald's game, Monster Scout Challenge, was released. It was a game where you, well, scout monsters. Upon doing so, you were granted a coupon for either a hot apple pie or an orange Minute Maid drink. As a second part to this collab, 2 rare monsters were distributed to customers who also had a copy of Joker 2. Liquid Metal Slime and Petite Girls, localised as the Conquettes in English. I actually found a couple of photos of this old monster distribution on a Square Enix blog post, so that's pretty cool. These unfortunately actually really didn't last long, with both Monster Scout Challenge and the monster distribution ending on June 17th. But something else overlapped with this collab. Something Japan has always had that the West lacks. Dragon Quest arcade games.
Now you can play Dragon Quest in amusement arcades and shopping center in your country!
Going back a bit, in 2010 an updated version of Dragon Quest Monster Battle Road 2 released, just adding the legend suffix to the end of the name. The Monster Battle Road games are a series of arcade card battlers. You collect and scan cards with the machines, and use them to overcome combat encounters. Good stuff, and I'm still slightly salty that we never actually got any of these machines in the West, but that's a topic for a future video. The Monster Battle Road sequel added items on top of the existing monster cards, and for 4 days, starting 1 day after the start of the Joker 2 collab, on May 29th and 30th and June 5th and 6th, 2010, purchasers of a Happy Meal or Happy Set at McDonald's in Japan would receive a single W code card, a special type of card that combined both monster and item cards into a single card, with 4 available to collect. Like this card for example. If you scan scanned this card into one of the arcade machines, you'd be awarded with both a slime and the Zenithian blade. And with only 4 days to get them, that would get me into my McDonald's daily for sure. Now we jump to March 31st, 2011. This time, it's time to go back to Monsters Joker 2 again, but this time for the professional re-release. This collaboration came in 2 parts. The first was the next McDonald's game to release, Monster Omikuji or Monster Fortune. A game played by shaking a digital fortune slip revealing a, once again, McDonald's coupon code. This code could offer discounts on various different McDonald's items. Let's see what our future holds. Wow, it says everyone watching is going to subscribe. Thanks for your support, please consider leaving a like and commenting while you're down there. Alongside Monster Omikuji, they also released 4 rare characters through Gift Battle. Wormhole Dragon, Stella, Ultra Slime, and Nemeslime. To be clear, I'm using the English localised names for the purposes of this video. This collaboration came to a close on April 27th, 2011. But on November 2nd, 2011, Slime Morimori 3 released on the 3DS in Japan, which is still the newest Slime Morimori game. Please Slime Morimori 4 on the Switch too, please. But 2 days after its release, on November 4th, McDonald's distributed a limited item for the game, the Metal King's Sword, and this would be available until the 24th. That's not the most important thing or even all that interesting. Not when there was a whole new McDonald's game that same day. Morimori Ship Battle. Even if you didn't yet have a copy of Slime Morimori 3, you could still experience a modicum of the game by being able to experience a ship battle, similar to what you'd experience in the actual full-fledged game. And this is yet another lost gem from Dragon Quest's history. Winning a ship battle would yet again entitle you to McDonald's discount codes, coupons, whatever else they offered. Honestly, it's like getting paid to play Dragon Quest. Imagine. That was Wave 1 of the Slamori collab. Wave 2 came on November 25th, where you could get the Majin no Ono, nowadays localised as the Headsman's Axe. That was available until December 15th, 2011. But there was one other thing on November 25th. Something right up my alley, and something that's probably of no interest to anyone but me. Through playing the ship battle game in store, you could enter a lottery to win 2 McDonald's gift cards. McDonald's gift cards in Japan are known as Mac cards, and it's not McDonald's gift cards that I have an obsession with, it's Dragon Quest gift cards in general. My first ever video on this channel was about Dragon Quest gift cards. Only 500 of these Slime Morimori gift cards were ever distributed. They were worth 500 yen each, so not particularly valuable, but more of a collector's item. And the giveaway period ran for the same amount of time, until December 15th, which was also scheduled to be the end of Morimori Ship Battle. At least until sometime in February 2012, where they decided they were going to go for round 3 and do another wave of that event. And to start, they released Morimori Ship Battle DX, an upgraded version of that game. Information on this game is very difficult to track down. Believe it or not, Dragon Quest's relationship with McDonald's is not the most widely documented thing, either on the English-speaking or Japanese-speaking side of the internet. But I estimated that this game released on February 17th for reasons I'll get to, and thanks to the Wayback Machine I was able to confirm that this is the case. Morimori Ship Battle DX did release on February 17th, 2012. So yeah, it was just an updated version of the same ship battle game. I'm sorry, I have to say, every time I say ship, it feels like I could be saying shit or ship. I promise I am saying ship, and I'm very self-conscious about it now, with the same kind of gameplay and similar rewards, but this time being able to experience battle with the Holy Ship, playing as the Slimes against their nemesis. Clearing the game rewarded discount coupons for small drinks and cheeseburgers, things like that. But McDonald's has clearly already shown us a pattern at this point. If they're releasing a McDonald's game alongside a full-fledged Dragon Quest game, they also release some digital items or something for the real thing. And that's the same story here. Starting February 17th, which is why I estimated that Ship Battle DX would have released on that same day, they staggered the release of some exclusive ship parts. Getting each of these parts would allow the customer to build the entirety of the Holy Ship in the actual game. Here's a rundown of those staggered dates. 17th to the 23rd, the Holy Body. February 24th to March 1st, the Holy Head. March 2nd to 8th, the Holy Mast, and then the 9th to the 15th, the Holy Side. I think it's so sad that all of this stuff is just gone now, including Ship Battle DX, which ended service on March 29th, 2012. Just over 2 months later, Dragon Quest Monsters Terry's Wonderland 3D released, so I sense it wouldn't be long before the next collaboration. On May 11th, 2012, McDonald's did indeed collaborate with Terry's Wonderland, the remake of the original Dragon Quest Monsters, or Dragon Warrior Monsters as we know it here. And as part of that, they released the McDonald's game Monster Fortune. Again, let's take a brief breather and go over our timeline so far. 2009 brings us McDonald's, McDonald's Travelers and those special Dragon Quest IX items. 2010 Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2 collab with Monster Scout Challenge, as well as some rare monsters and arcade code cards with your Happy Meal. 2011 Monsters Joker 2 came back, but more professional this time, with more rare monsters and Monster Fortune on McDonald's. And then we had Mori Mori Ship Battle. And then in 2012, Mori Mori Ship Battle returned, and once again, Monster Fortune came back. It's important to note that up until now, every single Dragon Quest game, if collaborating with McDonald's, only got a single McDonald's minigame. But that changed for Terry's Wonderland. Monster Fortune only stuck around for 2 weeks, ending on May 24th, and that was immediately replaced by Taiju Tour, the first time that a single game would get not one, but 2 McDonald's collaboration games. Taiju Tour was a game where the player travelled around the country of Taiju, or the Kingdom of Great Tree, which was the setting for the original Dragon Warrior Monsters game on the Game Boy Color. You travelled around the country with Terry, taking part in quizzes. And I will give you only one guess for what answering a quiz question correctly gave you. That's right, McDonald's coupons. I'm starting to sense a bit of a pattern here. In both Monster Fortune and Taiju Tour, you could be awarded with coupons for a small drink, a cheeseburger, or some small fries. Or apparently an Oreo McFlurry, which was also one of the rewards. And the content of the coupon varied depending on the fortune given or the content of the quiz. Remember, with every minigame collab comes some sort of release for the main game itself. And for Terry's Wonderland, McDonald's staggered the release of 2 rare monsters. They like doing that for the Dragon Quest Monsters games. From May 31st, 1 week after the launch of Taiju Tour, the Purple Ninja Slime, which looks nothing like a slime in the slightest, was available, followed by the Godbird Ramia on June 9th. But this time, rather than replacing the Purple Ninja Slime with the Godbird Ramia, they kept the availability of the Purple Ninja Slime during the distribution period for Ramia. And this lasted until June 21st, 2012, where they discontinued both monsters and the Taiju Tour game. And there'd be nothing else for the rest of the year. January 2013. Excitement was building for the upcoming 3DS remake of Dragon Quest VII. It was only 1 month away, but McDonald's couldn't wait. On January 11th, they dropped McDonald's Mysterious Lithograph. If you don't know, in Dragon Quest VII, lithographs and tablets work as forms of travel, so this was a fun nod to the game's core mechanic. Before I get back to this collab, comment below what your favourite Dragon Quest vocation is. Do you know what mine is? McDonald's Manager. That's right, in this game, on top of the vocations of Mage and Warrior, you also had the option to select either McDonald's Manager or McDonald's Crew. Does this mean that McDonald's is canon in the Dragon Quest universe? I hope so. You would then battle monsters that appear, and upon defeating these monsters, be rewarded with tablet fragments. Collecting 3 of these fragments would complete a tablet. Kinda similar to how things do work in Dragon Quest VII. What is fun is that these tablets are all related to McDonald's. There is very little available to see what this game was like, but in this screenshot you can clearly see a broken tablet depicting a hamburger. The primary game screen appears to show a sword depicting your current progress, and from what I can tell, once that sword reached the end, the game was over. Interestingly, I couldn't find any record that when playing this game you were ever rewarded with any of those coveted McDonald's coupons, but I expect maybe upon completion of a tablet you would have been rewarded with something, likely a coupon. I just think it's not well documented. We've established that these games always release with some sort of digital content distribution for the real game, but as Dragon Quest VII wasn't out yet, unfortunately in this case humanity would have to wait. But don't worry, it would come. on February 22nd, 2013 to be exact. Customers who'd bought a copy of the new Dragon Quest VII game were able to get a special stone tablet that was distributed by McDonald's. There were a number of non-story related tablets, including DLC tablets in Dragon Quest VII. And this was one limited one. On that date, they launched the Hamburger tablet, where customers could battle a boss to obtain an exclusive weapon in the game: a frying pan. They discontinued the Hamburger tablet on March 7th, 2013 and replaced it one day later on March 8th with the Shake tablet. This tablet had a reward of a wooden staff, localised as Shepherd's Crook. Yep, you heard me, localised, because these tablets were actually brought outside of Japan, just de-McDonaldized. The Hamburger tablet became Tough Nuts, and the Shake tablet became Perfect Day, pair as in a cat pairing. So we did get them, we just didn't get them as McDonald's tablets, which is interesting. The Shake tablet event wrapped up on March 28th, which also marked the end of the McDonald's game McDonald's Mysterious Lithograph. I personally think it's crazy how much effort was put into these collaborations. Here they'd have thrown a toy in a Happy Meal and probably called it a day. This whole timeline is genuinely fascinating to me, and genuinely actually quite difficult to piece together a full timeline, so please let me know if I missed anything, I will not be offended. Speaking of the complexity, this next event really did not make it any easier for me. On the 6th of February 2014, a remake of Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest Monsters 2 released on the 3DS. And alongside that, a McDonald's collab for it started. Of course, they wouldn't miss a chance to collaborate with a Dragon Quest Monsters game. What made mapping this event difficult is just how staggered all of the releases for it were, but I did my best and I'm confident that I've got it now, despite the numerous time frame extensions that they also did, complicating matters. Dragon Quest Monsters 2 introduced keys. Amongst these keys are special magic keys which could transport the player to a special area. On the release of the game, McDonald's distributed the Whipped Slime key first. This was tentatively scheduled to end in late March, but there was no exact date given. Next up was the Cherry Slime key on February 20th. They did not discontinue the Whipped Slime key when they released this one. These drops were all cumulative with the same tentative end date. Still, there was no scheduled end date. And finally, spoiler for now, was the Pudding or Pudding Slime. So to clarify, these keys were all available side by side, and then late March came. And it turns out what they meant was the very last day of March, but then they didn't end up discontinuing them anyway. Such liars. They extended the availability to May 12th, 2014, and on top of that adding lemon, berry, lime and peach slime keys, making a total of 7 keys available concurrently. And then May 12th came, the day they would finally discontinue all these keys, and then they still didn't. Starting from May 13th, one day after the new scheduled end date, all 7 slime keys were kept available. But not only that, this was with the addition of 7 new demon class monsters, and all of these would be available indefinitely. Distribution end date TBD. Now, because there were 7 slimes and 7 demon class monsters, each day of the week, Monday to Sunday, a different key would become available, either a boss monster or a slime key. Monday, Dragon Lord or Cherry Slime. Tuesday, Hargon or Lime Slime. Wednesday, Baramus or Lemon Slime. Thursday, Ladja or Berry Slime. I'm using the localised names again to be clear. Friday, Merdor or Peach Slime. Saturday, Dulmagus or Whipped Slime. And Sunday with Tyrannosaurus Rex or Pudding Slime. Can I just say that Tyrannosaurus Rex is so much more dumb than the Japanese name God of Destruction Phorobos. But anyway, it's such a confusing release, and sadly, although a discontinuation date of these keys was never actually announced, the entire McDonald's service would be discontinued on June 24th, 2015. Honestly, end of an era. The official Dragon Quest site gave a notice of the termination on June 10th, 2015, stating that the 7 slimes would no longer be available. At least, not in the usual way, but they would still be available via Street Pass. But something about this announcement really irked me, and I still actually don't know what to make of it. The data distribution service for Terry's Wonderland 3D and Monsters 2 will end. Terry's Wonderland 3D. If you'll recall, the distribution period for the Purple Ninja Slime and the Godbird Ramia was scheduled to end all the way back in 2012. So, did they extend that too? And I just couldn't find notification of this extension? And not only that, extending it for 3 whole years, that seems like a stretch. But that's all I can imagine them talking about here. I can't imagine they did another secret stealth drop of more monsters, but again, if you find anything or you know anything, please let me know. The end of this service would surely change the trajectory of all Dragon Quest McDonald's collabs going forward, as McDonald's was very central to all of them. And we would see the first post-McDonald's campaign in December 2016. But rather than go against expectation, they actually went right back to the beginning. By this point, you've been on this video and suffered through my timeline for a while. But recall back to 2010 with that series of arcade code cards that were distributed in Happy Meals. The active Dragon Quest arcade game in 2016 was Dragon Quest Battle Scanner, the newest successor to the Battle Road franchise. And harkening back to that 2010 collaboration, a set of 6 tickets, which are basically what the cards were called, with a little McDonald's logo on the front, were available with Happy Meal purchases. 5 of which would summon monsters with the special Happy personality trait, of course, and the final one containing a special Dragon Slash move which you could perform in the game. These were just set to be available while stocks lasted. No specific end date, and for only 2 days over the launch weekend of December 3rd and 4th, a Dragon Quest sticker was also added to Happy Meals, but again, only while stocks lasted, and I may have spent actual real-life money importing one of these stickers from Japan. Whoops. So that's really cool and all, but there's one more thing. These cards had a little map icon depicted on them. With this release was 3 limited McDonald's quests that could be played at the arcade machines. Happy Meadow, Happy Cave, and Happy Ruins. So the way that these arcade machines worked is after playing, they printed new cards. And upon completion of these 3 exclusive McDonald's quests, you could obtain these card designs which were only available through these collaboration quests. Really cool, and very much in line with their above and beyond collaborations of the past. But then things would go quiet for a couple of years with no new collaborations with McDonald's. But things would always find their way back. July 31st, 2018, Tokyo. McDonald's Japan held an important press conference. There, the newest Dragon Quest series collaborations were announced. And this collaboration was grouped into 4 parts. This is getting serious now. We even got this masterpiece of a McDonald's advert. Part 1, we start with Dragon Quest of the Stars, a very popular Dragon Quest mobile game which, up until recently, was actually still in operation. Part 2 is Dragon Quest Scan Battlers. You may notice how similar that sounds in name to the previous collaboration with Dragon Quest Battle Scanner, and that's because it is. Dragon Quest Battle Scanner was updated to Dragon Quest Scan Battlers in 2017, even utilising the exact same machines and ticket system. Part 3, we see the introduction of Twitter giveaways, something which the Dragon Quest franchise now has a bit of a history of. Finally, with the loss of McDonald's, they'll begin integrating things directly into the McDonald's app instead, and this is where we see the new era of digitised Dragon Quest McDonald's collaborations. All of this was scheduled to begin shortly following the conference, but Twitter came out ahead with the first drop 1 day later on August 1st. They ran a campaign to win one of 2,500 limited Mac cards, each worth 500 yen. I have one of them here. I told you I'm obsessed for some reason with Dragon Quest gift cards. Even I can't explain it. The retweet campaign ran until August 7th, so just about 1 week. And then August 8th would be the biggest collab drop of the entire timeline, with 4 significant concurrent drops, each one fulfilling one of the 4 parts of this planned collaboration. They all launched on the same day, just had staggered end dates. It's like they're trying to make this as difficult for me to follow as humanly possible. First, we have the second of the retweet campaigns, limited to only 100 winners. 2 miniature swords in the Metallic Items Gallery series, which are basically miniature metal versions of swords in the Dragon Quest franchise. And if I wanted to buy them now, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Next, we have the Scan Battlers collab. You could get one of these 3 exclusive game tickets. Remember, all of these occurred on the same day, August 8th. These were only available when purchasing one of 3 exclusive burger sets. Why? Because this whole collab was to coincide with their launch of regional specialty burgers, with burgers themed around the specialties of Miyazaki, Nagoya and Kanazawa. The first ticket allowed you to equip the displayed equipment, as well as granted the Metal Slash move to use against metal monsters in the arcade game. The second, a large number of Mugamaru from Dragon Quest of the Stars and his slime just gather to attack. There's definitely an overarching theme around Dragon Quest of the Stars across this entire event. Finally, thematically by far the coolest, a special ticket where all the heroes from Dragon Quest 1 to 3 gather, raising the emblem of Roto to the sky, increasing the attack and defense of all allies. But honestly, I can't help but feel that this collab was a little bit underwhelming, given how great the previous Battle Scanner collab was in 2016. Maybe it's a side effect that they launched so much at once here. Then you read the fine print. This promotion is available only in McDonald's inside Aeon malls. Why is it so restrictive? I don't know. Not a big fan of this one. Feels too simple and too corporate. Next, we have the actual Dragon Quest of the Stars collaboration. If that last one disappointed me, this one more than redeems it. This one is a return to the older style of collaboration, which, at this point I've spent so much time reading and researching about, I feel oddly passionate about it. During this campaign, you could get a digital McDonald's key, unlocking a special McDonald's dungeon in the game. Yes! And clearing the challenge granted the player with, drumroll please, McDonald's coupons! I never thought I'd be so happy about the prospect of a free burger, but if there's anything I've learned about myself on this research journey, it's that all I need to be happy is game content and coupons. And next is where we see the full paradigm shift from the Nintendo DS to mobile phones. With Mac DDS no more, there couldn't be any more of those exclusive games, unless they integrated Dragon Quest Combat directly into the McDonald's app. I don't know why, but the idea of having turn-based combat in the McDonald's mobile app is actually hilarious to me. But there it was. You use different spells to defeat monsters. Defeating monsters, thankfully once again, rewarded you with coupons. Honestly, this is such a return to form for McDonald's Dragon Quest collaborations, and I couldn't be happier. Right back to the idea of 2009's McDonald's Travelers. In my opinion, the perfect collaboration. And that was it. The 4 cornerstones of 2018's Dragon Quest McDonald's collaborations, but I did say that the end dates were all staggered. The King's Sword tweet campaign ran for 1 week, ending August 14th. Both Scan Battlers tickets and Of the Stars collaboration ran through to August 27th, but I did also see mention of the Scan Battlers collaboration again being a while stocks last situation, so I imagine it was whichever came first. Finally, McDonald's app battles was the longest running, finishing on September 4th, 2018. Yet towards the end of 2018, December 21st, that same Scan Battlers event came back, but this time with an extra collaborator mentioned, McDonald's, Dragon Quest and Molly Fantasy. But Molly Fantasy is an Eon company. But even if it doesn't directly mention them, take a look at the list of participating stores for this collaboration. But hey, they came back, and this time it was definitely a while stocks last situation, with no end date being listed at all. 2019 would see the release of a very divisive movie in the Dragon Quest franchise. Dragon Quest Your Story. Is it a bit of a mess? Yeah, it is. Do I still like it anyway? Absolutely. And on July 31st, 2019, McDonald's and Scan Battlers teamed up yet again, this time releasing a couple of Your Story themed tickets. No special dungeons or quests again, but at this point I've come to expect that. They were available while stocks last at approximately 500 stores nationwide. I couldn't find which 500, but I believe you could view within the app whether your local McDonald's restaurant was one of the collaborators. It's a very small collaboration, but I guess they can't all be huge, and 2019 had plenty more to offer. The next was on August 2nd. We would again see 3 concurrent drops with staggered end dates. Definitely a recurring pattern in modern McDonald's Dragon Quest collaborations. First was another 500 yen Mac card, very much resembling the Slime Mac card almost a year earlier. And this one was once again distributed in a Twitter campaign. This one depicting a metal slime instead of the normal slime. I have this one as well. This ran until August 8th when the winners were chosen. Next up, the triumphant return of app battles in the McDonald's app. My favourite of the 2018 collabs was back in very much the same fashion. Battle monsters in the app and win coupons. Very straightforward, very clear. And finally, starting August 2nd, another Dragon Quest of the Stars collab. This was a big one, with the first of 4 McDonald's collaboration keys launching that day. As a reward for completing the 4 McDonald's themed dungeons, you would get rewards in the form of McDonald's themed food in-game, which would do things like boost your stats. But you could also get equipment to be able to dress up in Dragon Quest of the Stars as a McDonald's crew member. Not quite as good as Dragon Quest VII's collaboration adding 2 McDonald's vocations, but still cool. And again, does this mean McDonald's is canon? Here are a few screenshots I was able to find of these maps. Each key and map was available for 1 week. Key A August 2nd to the 10th, Key B 10th to the 18th, C 18th to 26th, and Key D August 26th to September 1st. Once again, the app battles would go on for the longest, being terminated on September 9th, 2019. But there was one more Twitter giveaway amongst all of that. Going back to the Dragon Quest Your Story theme, on August 9th, a very limited drop of 100 Zenithian swords was made available through Twitter giveaway. Wait a second. 2018 and 2019. Scan Battlers tickets. McDonald's app battles, Dragon Quest of the Stars collaboration keys and maps, even limited 100-piece metallic swords and matching Mac cards. This is the same event 2 years running, just with a different skin. I'm not complaining, they found something that worked and they stuck with it, and it's still a very large, impressive collaboration. But it's interesting that they did the same thing and pretty much around the same time of year, August. But after that, the world went dark. Space and time moved apace, collaborations came and went, but where was McDonald's? 2020 came, nothing. 2021, 2022, silence. And 2023 was looking to be exactly the same. But that year, December 21st, 2023, Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince released. If we've learned anything from this journey, it's that McDonald's cannot resist collaborating with Dragon Quest Monsters. And alongside the release of Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince, 3 McDonald's exclusive monsters, 2 burger themed monsters, the Burger Slime and the Burger Mimic, and a McFlurry themed imp. From what I can tell, it had been over 4 years since Dragon Quest and McDonald's last collaboration, which is really surprising if that's the case. These were of course Japan exclusive monsters, much to the dismay of Western fans, especially since they could actually add themselves to your bestiary if you encountered them online, making your collection forever incomplete. I mean, what's up with that? Such an annoying oversight, to be honest. Eventually these would be distributed elsewhere, making it possible for Western players to get them through region swapping. So at least the world recovered. These monsters were apparently limited to 1 million claims. I didn't know that, but that's what it says. The promotion ran until January 12th, 2024. And up to now, at the end of 2025, that's it. There have been no more Dragon Quest McDonald's collabs. It took me far too much time to piece all of this together, and I'm now a world expert on Dragon Quest McDonald's collabs. And if you've managed to stick with this video all the way to now, so are you. The test is next week. If you enjoyed this video or just happened to have it on while eating, please like and subscribe and so on and so forth. But for real, this was a lot of fun and I had so much fun researching this. And I'm glad you stuck around to the end. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.